Welcome back to another PEP video. Today we will continue with the 2021 PEP ability test. We will continue with the quantitative reasoning section of the past paper. Okay, so let us continue with the 2021 ability test past paper. Alright, so we're at question 21. Alright, it says examine the pattern below. Use it to answer item 21. Now we see we have some squares here. We have 5 squares. Alright, then term 2 has 8 squares. Term 3 has 11 squares. Now the question says, how many squares would be in term 4? So if first term has 5, second term has 8, and 11, we are going up by 3 squares each time. And you can see 3 squares adding on to the left side of the terms. So 3 plus 11 squares would give us 14 squares. Let me change back this to the color red, sorry. Alright, so that will be 14 squares for this one. Alright, so moving on now. It says Nancy is making some sandwiches. She has a choice of 2 types of bread, white and brown. She also has a choice of 3 types of meat, chicken, beef, and fish. Use this information to answer item 22. So we're going to make some sandwiches. We have 2 types of bread. Alright, so it says how many different types of sandwich can Nancy make Alright, so 22 reads, how many different type of sandwich can Nancy make if for each type of bread she uses only 1 type of meat for each sandwich? So we have 2 different types of bread, white and brown, right? And then we have 3 different types of meat. So you can't mix the meat based on the instructions. So if you're going to make a fish sandwich, it is a fish sandwich. Alright, so you can have fish and white bread, fish and brown bread, fish and white bread, fish and brown bread, chicken and white bread, chicken and brown bread, beef and white bread, beef and brown bread. So we'd have 6 sandwiches. That one is fairly easy. Moving on, examine the pair of numbers below. The same relationship exists between the numbers in each pair. Use this relationship to answer item 23. So in the first pair we have 12 and 18, 10 and 15, 6 and 9. I don't know if because I'm mathematically inclined that I can see that all these terms are 2/3. Maybe you can't see it at your level. But what you can do, you can use ratio to help you solve this one by just even using just the first term and the fourth term, right? So you have 12 going to 2. What can bring you to 2 from 12? You have to divide by 6, right? When you divide 18 by 6, your answer would be 3. So you can even just use 2 terms to help you solve it. Once you have a missing terms and they have the same relationship exists between them, then you can use ratio to help you solve that one. Alright, moving on. The clues in the rectangle below describe a 3-digit number. Use them to answer item 24. Now it says the digit in the hundreds place is 4. Alright, so let us start to draw this thing up. So 100 place, we have 4. Let us put tens and ones also. Tens And see with me, guys, I'm using the mouse to write. All right, so in the said the digit 3 is in the ones place. All right, now the 3-digit number is divisible by 3. Now the question reads, which of the following could be the tens digit of the number? Now the rule states that if you have a 3-digit number and you have for the last 2 digits, meaning the tens and the ones, those two numbers together must not be divisible by 3, especially when you have an even number for when you have an even number for the in the hundreds place. So in this case, let us try the 2 to see if 2 and 3 together would be divisible by 3. Now, 423. We all know that 23, as we were discussing earlier with the tens and the ones, would not be divisible by 3. So therefore, 423 should be divisible by 3. Alright? 423, and you can check this. 423 divisible by 3 would give you 141. So we know that this says the 2 could go in the tens column and make it divisible by 3. If we try any other of the numbers, any other number, then it would not be divisible by 3. And you all just need to check, once you have an even number in the hundreds column, check the 2 last digits to make sure that it's not divisible by 3. And once you have that, then you're good to go. Alright, moving on. The diagram below shows a model for a whole number. Each small cube is in the model has a value of 1. Use the model and the information given to answer item 25. So we can see that, let us check to see how many cubes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 going across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 going down. So that's 100 in each of these large ones. And then we have 1, 2, 3 single ones. So we have 2 hundreds and we have 3 ones. And we can just use our understanding of place value chart to understand that. So it's actually 203 in total, right? And this one is 203. All right. Now the beads on the counting frame shown represent the number 312. Use this information to answer item 26. So this right here represents 312. 312. So obviously, back to place value chart, this is saying that you have a 2 in the ones column. This one represents 1 in the tens column, and this represents 3 in the hundreds column. So you can actually write these out. This is the hundreds column. This is the tens column. And this is the ones column. All right. Now, which number is represented by the beads on the counting frame below? Now, the counting frames are the same. So all we need to do is to check to see on this one, how many ones. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 ones. You could write that down, starting from the right, going towards your left. We have how many tens? We have 1 tens. All right, how many hundreds? 0 hundreds. All right, how many thousands? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, let us look to see which of the options matches our answer, and that is which one? Letter B, 6019. Moving on again. Question 27, which point is incorrectly labeled on the number line below? So let us look at the whole numbers on the number line before we look at anything else. We have 1 here, 2 here, and 3 there. Let us count the spaces in between. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 8 spaces in between each of the whole numbers. Let us check this side. It should be 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? So we have 8 spaces in between. So each of these spaces between is 1, 8. 1 out of 8. Right? So let us find the halfway line. The halfway line would be 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is correctly labeled. This is a tick. Let me get this possible. Let me erase this. So this is a tick for 1.5. All right. Let us look at this one. Now it says 1 and 1 over 8. Now, if 1 is here and each of these spaces is 1 out of 8, 1 out of 1 and 1 8 should actually be right here. So it says which point is incorrectly labeled on the number line. We can see that it's 1 and 1 over 8. Let us check to see if 2.5 is where it should be. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 spaces, that's 2.5. And a quarter, 2.25 would be 2 spaces. That is correct. So the one that is out of place is 1 and 1 8. I'm just running through as quickly as possible. I'm trying to explain at the same time. All right, which number is the smallest? All right, so we have fractional numbers here now. Now, the one that would be the smallest would be the one that has the lowest value, of course. And just by looking at these fractions, how you can find which fraction is the smallest is to find a common denominator. But in this case, you're going to have to use judgment to help you answer this question. Right? Because to find common denominator of these numbers is very difficult. Right? You have a lot of even numbers and odd numbers. That number to find will be very hard for you. All right. So using judgment, you can check and use the elimination method as well. Now this one, 88 over 39, we can see that this is a improper fraction, meaning this a mixed number would get if you work this out. Right? So this is actually larger than 1, and we see things that are smaller than 1. All right? See, all right, that's out. We have 42 near 42 and 57 for denominator. Now that almost is close to 1, and we see 5 over 11 there, which is not a half, but it's close to a half. So we have a fraction that is close to a half compared to one that is closer to a quarter. So we can see that this one is the smallest fraction. All right, the jar below has 21 marbles in it. Use it to answer item 29. All right, now look at the jar. It says it has how many marbles? 20 marbles in it. We can section up this jar and try to check to see how many marbles could be in it if it was full. Let me erase that. I want to do it properly. All right, so we're sectioning the jar to see how many parts we could actually get out of it. All right, so that represents, let me do another size looking almost similar to that. You have to use up your pencil and draw. All right, and check to see how many spaces like that we could actually get. So we could actually get 4 of these size spaces. So if this space can hold 20, that the next 20 here, that would be 40. The next 20 here, which would be 60. And next 20 here, which would make it 80. Let's see if 80 is there as an option. Yes, 80 is there as an option. Okay, moving on to item 30. Each student in a class will be given a speech. Each student's speech should last between 7 and 10 minutes. Which of the following is the best minute estimate for the least number of student speeches that could be given in a 2-hour class? So the speeches should be between 7 and 10 minutes, right? 2-hour class. So 2 hour class. Let us check to see how many minutes you can get out of 2 hours. So 2 hours. All right, I'm writing in the mouse here, guys. It's very difficult. Let me zoom and write 2 hours equal 120 minutes. Oh, this thing is killing me. All right, so 2 hours equals 120 minutes. Okay, so we established that 2 hours is 120 minutes. Now, the least amount of minutes per speech is 7 and the most is 10. Now we're going to check to see how many 7-minute speeches we could get out of 120. All right, so out of 120 minutes, 7 into 120 goes 17.14 something. You can check that on your own. So you're going to have to check to see the smallest one, which is 7, can go into 120 minutes, and you should get 17 speeches. All right. Now, you can get 17 7-minute speeches. You can't get 19. Although it says estimate and 19 is close to 17, it can't be 19 speeches because you couldn't reach it out of 120 minutes by giving the least amount of minutes. So it didn't say that every one is 7 minutes. Some could be that it's 10 minutes, some could be 8 minutes, some could be 9 minutes. So the only one and the closest one to 17 would be 11. And we don't need to check 8 speeches because we already know that we could get 8 speeches easily. Even 8 10-minute speeches. 8 10-minute speeches is 80 minutes. So we could easily get 8 speeches. Right? So the closest one to, or the best estimate would be 11. All right, let me zoom this down a little. All right, Nancy wants to determine the number of pencils in a bag. Mark gave her the clues listed below. Use them to answer items 31. All right, so it says the number is less than 60. So if the number is less than 60, we know that D could not be an answer. So we cross out 76. All right, so the number is less than 60. You have to use elimination method for this now. All right, it is not a multiple of 2. So if it is not a multiple of 2, 38 is an even number. So we can't use 38. Cross out 38 as well. So we have 2 options out the way. Right? It says it does not include the digit 5. And if it does not include the digit 5, then 25 cannot be the answer. So the only one that is there is 41 remaining. Let us check to see it is less than 60. It is not a multiple of 2, and it doesn't include the digit 5. Fairly simple to me. Now, moving on. It says a cat has 1 nose and 4 legs. So a cat has 1 nose, 4 legs. 2 cats have 2 noses. So just by reading this part, 2 cats have 2 noses and 8 legs, we can determine that for every cat, there is 1 nose. Right? So 2 cats, 2 noses. 1 cat, 1 nose, 2 cats, 2 noses. Without even looking at the legs, we know that 2 cats have 2 noses. And we have to use the best part out of the sentence to help us understand what this question is dealing with. It says, how many cats are there if there are 16 legs and 4 noses? Now, we already determined that 1 nose equal 1 cat. Because it said here that a cat has 1 nose and 2 cats have 2 noses. So therefore, we can determine that if there are 4 noses there are 4 cats. And we don't need to even look at the legs to determine that. All right? Not in this case. Moving on. The table below shows the distance 4 students live from school. Use this information to answer items 33 and 34. All right. Now we have Kemar 1.9 kilometers distance traveled to go to school. All right, Melissa 0.5 kilometers, Nick 1.1, and Simone 0.4. It says which student lives the closest to school. Now it says that looking back at the information, looking back at the instruction, it says the distance 4 students live from school. So we are going to go closer to 0 for this person who lives closest to school. Closest to 0, 1.9 is out. All right, 1 point. So we're looking for the smallest value. The smallest value is 0.4, which that one would be Simone. 34. Which conclusion can be drawn from the information in the table? All the students live less than 2 kilometers from school. Let us look back at the table if that suffices. Yes, all of them live less than 2 kilometers. All students live less than 0.5 kilometers from school. No, because one person live 1.9. All students live more than 2 kilometers from school. No. All students live between 1 and 2 kilometers from school. No, the only one that suffices is A. All students live less than 2. We had 1.9, 0.5, 1.1, and 0.4. All right. Moving on to item 35, it says use the information below to answer item 35. All right. Now, Anna asks 23 children about the number of brothers they have. All right. Some children have no brothers. All right. No children has more than 3 brothers. More children have one brother more than any other of number of brothers. All right, so you can use the elimination method and check each chart here. So it says that some children have no brothers. So we should see 0 for that one. Should make sure that some children have. So this one says some 3, 4, 5 children have 0 brothers there. 3 children have 0 brothers, and this one says 4 children have 0 brothers. This one says 0 children have 0 brothers. It said some children have 0 brothers, so this one is out. No children has more than 3 brothers. So this one is saying that 3 persons has 4 brothers. So this chart is definitely out as well. Right? More children have 1 brother than any other number of brothers. So we must look for the one that has now 1 brother. So here is one number of brothers. 1 brother more than any other number of brother. So the answer for this one, you can see that this one matches. Some children have 0 brothers. All right. No, it has no brothers for 4. And this one, it says last clue. So back at the last clue. More children have 1 brother than any other number of brothers. The only one that fits is D. All right. Let me see if I can zoom this out so we can see the entire question. All right. Now, a survey was done with 50 grade 6 students about their favorite subject. The diagram below represents the information that was collected. Use it to answer item 36. Now, looking at the pie chart, we see music here looking less than a quarter, or looking more than a quarter. Physical education matches about with a half. All right. Now it says which statement best describes the information in the diagram. No more than 12 students like art. No more than 12 students like art. So 50 students. 50 students. All right. And it says no more than 12 like art. 50 students, that would be in a quarter of 50, that would be 12.5. And it says no more than 12 like art. Art is definitely more than 12 because it's more than a quarter. All right. more students choose physical education as their favorite subject than music and art combined. No, these two combined is 50. This is alone is 50. So it says more combined. No. All right. At least 50 students like physical education. 50% like physical education, but not 50 students. 50 students in total, half of that is 25. All right, so we can definitely say the last one is the answer. At most, 10 students like music. That one's fit very well because it's less than a quarter. Quarter is 12.5, and it's less than a quarter by far. So it says at most 10 students like music. All right. 2 out of every 5 girls in a school are wearing ribbons. All right, so 2 out of 5. Just write this up. 2 out of 5. 2 out of 5 are wearing ribbons. I can't draw very good with the mouse. I really need a... Why is this thing not erasing? Alright, so 2 out of 5. Alright, wear ribbons. If there are 60 students in the school, how many of them wear ribbons? So 2 out of 5 times 60. $16 total. 5 into itself goes 1 time. 5 into 60 goes 12. 2 times 12 give us 24. Over 1. Alright, so that one is C. Alright, fairly simple. 2 out of 5 of 60. Good. Alright, so question 38, we're almost to the end of the paper. Francine is able to type 180 words per minute. How many words can she type in 15 seconds if she types at the same rate? So 180 words per minute. We're looking at seconds here now. So we have 180 180 to 60 seconds now. So that's 180 words to 60 seconds. I'm just going to write S there. So for this one now, we have 15 seconds. Now, when we cancel this out, we can see that for every second, there is 3 words typed. So 15 seconds to get from 180 to 60, you divide by 3. So to get from 15 to the amount of words, you multiply by 3. Multiplying 15 by 3, you would get 45. Sorry, I can't work this out as how I'd want to because I'm using the mouse. But it's like ratio 180 to 60 seconds. What took you from 180 to 60? You divide it by 3. Right? Now, what will get you from 15 seconds to the amount of words? Just to multiply 15 by 3. Right? The opposite of division. So you get 45. Okay, so for item 39, there is a question followed by 2 statements. Determine if the statements provide enough information for you to answer the question. Now, 39 reads, the distance around a pond is 40 meters. What is the length of its longer sides? Statement 1, the pond is rectangular. Statement 2, the pond is twice as long as it is wide. Now, A reads statement 1 alone is enough to answer the question, definitely not. B reads statement 2 alone is enough to answer the question, definitely not. Let us check to see if both statements are enough. Now it says statement 1 reads the pond is rectangular. So we draw a rectangular pond right here. This is not drawn to scale, guys. Now it says that the length is twice the width. So we can determine that put this one as y, and we can put the length as 2y because the length is twice the width. Now, so we must know that 2y plus y should be equal to 20. Y 20, one length and one width should give you half the perimeter of the rectangle. We could check this side as 2y and this side as y and say that 6y equal 40. But we're just going to use half the rectangle and say that 3y, which is y plus 2y plus y should give us 3y equals 20. Alright, so we're left with now 3y equals 20. So to get the length of y, we would have to divide 20 by 3. Divide both sides of the equation by 3. Divide this side by 3. Divide numerator and denominator by 3. Y alone is left. And this side by 3, we should get 6.6666. So y would be equal to 6.66666. We will continue with sixes until forever, right? Now, if y is 6.66666 and it doesn't stop, and we add y and y, which would give us 2y, that should give us 13.12. So 13.12 plus 13.12 and another 13.12 will give us 39 point something. So we wouldn't reach back the 40. Alright, so we can say that both these statements are not enough to answer the question because we're going into decimal and we're not going to get back the exact 40 once we go into decimal. Alright, moving on to the last question. It says, examine the multiplication table below. There are 4 shapes. And there are 2 ways to go about this based on what I'm seeing. I have picked up an easy way to go to answer this question already. But this question can be seen difficult because our teachers were asking me to work this one out for them. So I know it must have been difficult for you guys if teachers are asking me to work this one out. Now, it says that each shape represents a different single-digit number. So one clue that already. Each shape represents a different single-digit number. Now, there are 2 ways to look at this. All right. Now, let us break it down step by step and look at it. Now, we can see that this circle here, circle, and circle. We know how a multiplication table works. Circle and circle give us 1. All right. And we see that triangle, and triangle give us 9. So triangle and triangle give us 9. What 2 number does give us 9? We can safely say that this triangle is 3 because triangle and triangle give us 9. Now, so if this triangle is 3, this triangle is 3 because triangle and triangle give us 9. Now, what times 3 give us 18? We can say that 3 times 6 give us 18. So we can say that this box here is 6. Right? The square is 6. And we established that this is 1 already. Right? So triangle is 3. Square here is 6. Right? Now, which number does the star represents? So here is a star over in the last column over here. So let us see something in the star. So we see here there's a box here in the star column. I will see there because you get back star. One times star will give you back a star, definitely. Now we see a 12 here. Now there's 18 here and there's 12 here. Now we know that this value, just by even looking at the 18 here and the 12 here, we can see that if this is 1, right? If the circle is 1 and the triangle is 3, and 3 times 6 give you 18, and this star times the square gives you 12. We can say that the star has a lesser value than the triangle. And if it has a lesser value than the triangle, there's only could be one answer because it can't be 1, so it must be 2. But let us continue with our steps, right? Now, if this square is 6, right? We established that. Now, 6 times the 6 times the star gives us 12. Now, what times 6 give us 12? It must be 2. And as we were saying before, we could just use the 12 alone to determine that this is actually 2, because 3 times 6 give you 18. Now, 12 is less than 18, right? And what value lesser than 3 can give you 2 times? It must be 2. So the only answer there could be 2. That one was fairly simple to me. I don't know how most persons found it difficult, but it was fairly simple. All right, so that is the end of my run through of the quantitative reasoning section of the ability test paper of 2021. Thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel.